Oh, see, that's the problem. But YouTube cuts off my head. One day we gotta figure this out with like camera and everything like that. We gotta make this more professional and be able to stream out on the 3. What was that product called? Not Ecamm. There's a product that you can.
It's created by Nevo Camera.
Is it you stream live onto multiple platforms at once from one camera?
I mean, it costs.
We're gonna do that. It's gonna cost some money, but Savannah's got the budget. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Estate Questions Live, also known as Real Q&A. This is real Q&A stuff. We got Instagram, we got YouTube, we got Facebook over here. Very excited. I'm eating my dessert. We're running late. I'm running behind. I'm sorry. That is my bad. I take full responsibility for running late. Had to run some errands. Took a little longer than I thought. Some phone calls as we're gathering ourselves after this holiday weekend, after Labor Day, into summer blast, full-fledged into fall now, even though it's 95 degrees outside. And I had to get a little fuel for the show, so I'm eating my dessert now. You can't go wrong with peanut butter M&Ms. Totally. Peanut butter M&Ms. M&Ms, you want to sponsor me? I'm all in. All right, so got a couple questions here today, as I usually try and do. Welcome back. I know we missed last week. I missed you guys. I'm sorry that I didn't have real Q&A last week, but I did have some questions here that I have not only in my years of experience, 15 years in real estate. These are usually questions that I've had posed to me from buyers or from sellers or from real estate agents as we build our team here at Eagle Realty, and other realtors that I've interviewed or talked to or networked with over the years in the industry have had questions for me. And, I aim to please. I want to answer some of them. And you can always submit questions. You can leave comments below on YouTube or on Facebook, Instagram, DM me. Get them. You can email me. You can text me. You can even do a phone call. Some people still do that. And you can send me a question, and I would love to answer your questions here on Real Q&A. So if you have a question, please do, and we'll get them answered. But I have 3 questions today: 1 buyer, 1 seller, 1 realtor question. The buyer question, I actually get this way more than I feel like we should in today's age. And I feel most agents, most of you, if you're a realtor out there, have been watching this. But I have buyers still ask me, do I need to get a pre-qual or pre-qualification? Do I need to talk to a lender before I make an offer on a property? Yes, you should. I think most realtors will recommend, before you start looking at a property, before you get really keen on one property and that you feel like you found a property, that you need to be pre-qualified with the bank. You need to have talked to a lender. Ask your realtor for lender partners that they work with if you don't know who to talk to, or just talk to your local lender in your bank or someone that you may know or a friend of a friend. But you need to talk to a lender. You need to know what your buying power is. You need to understand how much can you afford realistically. Now, that doesn't have to go through the whole approval process, but if you're honest with your lender on the front end, they can do a lot to tell you a good range of what you can afford and what kind of homes you should be looking at, so you don't fall in love with the $500,000 home down across the street and you can only afford a $150,000 mortgage. Like, you need to know these things going in, and your realtor does too, for their time, and so that they can show you the right properties that fit your budget. So yes, you need to be pre-qualified at the least, or pre-approved before you get to the process of, that's probably a good question, pre-qual versus pre-approved. We'll save that for the next show. But you need to have talked with your lender and understand your buying power before you really start looking at homes, and definitely before you get to the offer process. That is almost a prerequisite for almost any offers, to accompany an offer with a pre-qual letter or pre-approval letter or proof of funds. Like, you want to submit that with your offer to show your strength as a buyer for the potential property, especially in a market like our market, where it's a seller's market, and they want to make sure that they have the strongest buyer candidate possible. Sellers, cool question here. And I get this a lot, very often actually, and in our market, and especially if the property is occupied. So usually a little bit further away from the beach, but if you live in a market where you have a lot of occupied homes, is 24-hour notice okay to ask for to show? Well, yeah, that's optimal. And I think your realtor, your listing agent will help you out to try and give you the most time possible to get the house ready to make it showable. Of course, I'll tell you, try and keep your house as neat and as orderly as possible, but life does happen. We understand that. 24-hour notice to show, though, is a big time frame. And in our market here in Myrtle Beach, we have a ton of short notice showings, and that's becoming more and more common over the years, of people that are in town or in for a short period of time, or they only dedicated this amount of time to look at homes. So sometimes you just don't have it. I mean, I know in our package we have the 10-minute get ready to show and 10-minute pamphlet that kind of helps people kind of get ready to show. What's up, everybody on Instagram? Love you guys. All right, but we have that kind of like 10-minute to get ready to show, and how to keep your house in order during the listing period, during the listing term contract, and that kind of stuff. You only get one shot to make a first impression. Now, it is my contention that if you need 24-hour notice or you need a longer period of notice and someone calls to make an appointment, if they're really interested in your property, like they'll fit it into their schedule. They will try and make a showing. But sometimes you can weed some maybe people that are just looking or testing the waters out. But for the most part, 24-hour notice to show, yes, we can ask for it, but it may not be your best strategy to show the property. Yes, plenty of notice. Talk with your listing agent, make sure they have timeframes that they can kind of work with, but understand you can probably get your house ready to show, barring any kind of major catastrophe or something going on in your life, within an hour or so, and just be prepared for that if you want maximum exposure and the most amount of people walking and seeing your house and your property for the sale. My last question is for realtors. So if you are a realtor, if you got your realtor hat on, if that's your career, if that's, your job of choice, if you have, your passion into real estate. So this is for you. So not anything against buyers and sellers, but anybody else that's not a realtor, you may never have asked this question before. But if you're in business, you may have asked this question, because I still get this question from real estate agents. Does email still work? Like, should I still be using email? Yes, you should still be using email. I mean, if people are still sending postcards, you should definitely still be using email. It is, just a verified, easy way of connecting and communicating with people quickly and efficiently. It's in writing. There's lots of reasons for email, and I'm not going to get into all of them, but from a marketing-only standpoint, email. What you'll hear a lot, you'll probably hear a phrase in the last like 2 or 3 years about me mail, meaning make your emails more personalized. Don't just spam people, thousands. And you still get that. I mean, there's still a place for flyer marketing, just like a mailing, just like blanketing a neighborhood with postcards and that kind of stuff. You can still do that. But if you really want to get your message across and connect with people through email, it needs to be more about them. It needs to be very personal. Touch, how you're addressing them in the email. Is it specific to them directly? Are you using video in email? Are you doing this through services like BombBomb, or just sending, a Facebook message via video, or creating a video and sending it in your email? Like, I like this a little bit better. I prefer camera, even in an email form, like to watch a video. It's something a little different. It sets your email apart. You got to be looking at your headlines and your read lines and that kind of stuff for what your header is and what the first part of someone, on mobile is seeing. Are they seeing, a little bit of text there, and what the email's about? Is it important? So you got to focus on those two things. But absolutely, there is a place for email and email marketing that is still huge right now. And there are things you can do to increase your open rates, your click-through rates, and you do need to track that, run your analytics. You can test, you can do A/B tests, and really utilize email to its potential and its fullest. I see that thumbs up there, Matt. I just wanted to say that you definitely need to use email. You can do 24-hour notice to show for sellers, but short notice showings are going to get you more exposure. And yes, you need a pre-qual. Those are the answers to our questions today. If you ever have a real estate question, if you're a buyer, seller, you've been a buyer, you've been a seller, you had something that wasn't answered, or you're thinking about it in the future and need an answer, or you're a real estate agent and have a question about your career, please hit me up. I'd love to answer that each week on Real Estate Answers Live. Thank you guys for joining in. Hope you had an awesome Labor Day. Hope you have an awesome week moving forward, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.